start with you. Uh, the allegations are serious and they've been denied by the Biren Singh government, but they're not going away. And effectively, what they're saying, and we're not playing the clips because we cannot independently authenticate or source the clips. But effectively, what they're saying is that on tape, Mr. Biren Singh can be seen exhorting private militia, saying things like, "Don't worry, I will be arrested before any of you are arrested. If any trouble happens, I will stand between you and the rule of law." Now, how what is the appropriate way for the BJP at the center? The party politics and the ethnic debate will continue in Manipur. What should be the appropriate response of the Home Ministry and of the center to these allegations, Rajat?
Good evening, Barkhaji. Good evening to Hangshing ji as well. Uh, See, tapes and the history of tapes over the past 1 year or so, the way it has, the way it has repeatedly over the past been strategically placed and come out. Somebody holds on to this tape and selectively releases it at opportune time. I mean, of course, I don't have the full information whether these tapes are doctored or not. The Biren Singh government has come out strongly saying and filed an FIR against the Wire, saying that these are doctored clips, and if at all these clips had to be aired, they should be given to the Judicial Commission, which is already looking into all the aspects of acts of commissions and omissions both in the state of Manipur, instead of going public with it. So that's his position, and to that extent, I agree that since the state is burning, every ounce of fuel that you're adding to this conflict through these videos, true or doctored, again, I'm not the one who can make a call on that, has material impact on individuals' lives, people's lives who are either staying in the camp or are in the buffer zone, etc. Therefore, one has to be extremely responsible when somebody is out and publishing these things. Therefore, coming to the moot point as to how should the BJP government at the center handle the situation. First thing, it is no longer about Congress and the BJP anymore. Political parties, those lines have completely faded in the state. Two ethnic communities who are at loggerheads, that's the only line of distinction that exists, nothing else. Everything else has been erased. Therefore, more than the BJP government, it is the central government who needs to understand that a very important border state with an unstable neighbor, which is Myanmar, with Bangladesh also becoming unstable now, has material impact on our internal security. And it cannot be allowed, the investigations cannot be allowed to carry on. There has to be some level of a sunset clause associated with all of these, high court based or senior high court retired high court judge conducting these investigations. The CBI is also investigation. The entire investigation machinery has been removed outside of the Manipur State Police and has been given to the central agencies monitored under the judicial inquiry. But have a time bound closure to it. Once the closure is there and whatever recommendations come out of it, implement those. If the chief minister is found guilty on it, remove him, conduct set up a president rule, resolve the issues, and then get a new chief minister, whatever it is. If he is not found complicit, go out and reach out to the MLAs, Kuki MLAs also. There have been n number of allegations even against the Kuki MLAs being involved in the violence as well. So all these accusations, you cannot carry on the state and in such a vulnerable condition in perpetuity. You need to have a closure to all of these things. I'm sure that the Home Ministry is trying its level best to see that can any kind of a breakthrough happen back channels or not. So far, as much as I know, the Home Ministry hasn't come out public with this, but yes, on a weekly basis, there are still deliberations happening. There have been major breakthroughs on certain important points, but not complete for both the warring factions to come together and leave violence aside.
Before I go to Mr. Hangshing, Rajat, I take your point that, when you have edited tapes, you don't know who's done the recording, you don't know who's leaked the recording, you don't know if it's the full conversation, and those caveats I respect, and that's the reason we're not playing the tapes. But the point is that the MLAs, and I agree with you, party lines have collapsed in Manipur. So 7 of the 10, the MLAs, the 10 MLAs who are speaking are technically from the BJP. And but I agree, party lines have collapsed, they're immaterial today. But when 10 MLAs, including 2 state ministers, come out and say the chief minister must be probed, And when they ask the center for a commission of inquiry, that commission of inquiry will determine whether these tapes are authentic, not authentic, what happened in these tapes. Do you think the center must publicly at least announce the commission of inquiry?
But the Supreme Court has already instituted it. This matter went all the way up, and a retired Guwahati High Court Chief Justice, I suppose, is actually he's conducting all the investigations. So
Hmm.
this is what, it has stretched for a period of 1 year, and we all have, it has been erased from our collective memory that what all steps have actually been taken historically. My simple point is that it should conclude at some point, because without
Hmm.
the conclusion of these investigations, how do you start the process of healing? That's where things are stuck, I believe.
So you're saying no separate inquiry is needed. There is already a
So
Supreme Court
there is a
monitored.
separate inquiry on the role of the chief minister, included, by
I
the
know,
way.
I know. I
So
know, I know. I mean, no separate inquiry on these particular audio clips. That's what
no,
you're
these
saying.
tapes have also been. In fact, these tapes were actually submitted to the Commission of Inquiry, and then also leaked to the media. So it's not as if these
Okay.
tapes are not with the Commission of Inquiry. They're already there. They have been submitted duly. In fact, the person who submitted, his identity has been protected by the Commission of Inquiry themselves. They have ensured that his name or her name is not leaked out to the public and the media. But somebody,
Right.
in any case, went ahead and leaked those tapes to the media, and the wire carried the story.
Right. So Mr. Hanshik, this is the very important point that basically what Rajat is saying is that these tapes are already with the Commission of Inquiry. Sir, if you could just lean a little bit, yeah, there. These tapes are already with the Commission of Inquiry. They're not new. This evidence is before a Supreme Court monitored investigation that is ongoing. All that is new is that these tapes have been placed in the public domain. These tapes have not suddenly been discovered. Therefore, why are leaders like yourself and other groups asking for a separate inquiry into these tapes? This material, as you just heard Rajat said, is already before the Commission of Inquiry. How do you respond to that, Mr. Hanshik?
The the KPA has not officially asked for these tapes to be inquired into. In fact,
Okay.
it's been loosely viral in all the thing. And when I saw it, I mean, I didn't think anything much about it, because
Hmm.
the fact that the CM Biren Singh has goofed up, and he's actually the architect of all the violence, not only from 3rd May, but from since 5 years back. He's planned all these things, is well known. This is just an additional evidence
Hmm.
that he is the goof out here. And it is not, everything doesn't hinge on his innocence or the authenticity of the tapes or whatever. I think it is just an additional thing, and it distracts the whole issue. It's not really
Hmm.
relevant whether the tapes are. I mean, when I saw it, I saw it at
Yeah.
least 5 times because there was a doubt in my mind in the social media. Everything can be done nowadays. You can you can doctor all kinds of things. But I saw it again and again, and I know Biren Singh personally. I've met him. I've talked to him. Now it is. I mean, as an aside, I will say that this has not been doctored. These are genuine tapes. His reaction to it also proves that these are authentic tapes, because he's
Hmm.
asked for an inquisition on who leaked it, which is a giveaway that he knows that these are authentic, and he wants to find out who leaked these tapes. You know, but even if it is proved that these are authentic, and which the tapes also prove that he is the culprit behind all this violence. He's the architect of this ethnic violence since 5 years. I would go as far back as 5 years in his
So, 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 so,
when
so, so, so let me ask you this. You are saying, actually, you're both saying something similar. Your conclusion may be different, but what you're both saying is that these tapes are already part of the larger debate around Biren Singh's role.
Hmm.
The Commission of Inquiry needs to look at Biren Singh's role. The Supreme Court is already cognizant of that. But I want to ask you, Mr. Hangshing, when you say that the Chief Minister's response shows that the tapes are not doctored, they're real, why do you believe that the debate around the tapes is a distraction? We've had the student groups, the Kuki student groups today come to Delhi. We've
Hmm.
had the MLAs issue a statement. We've had two state ministers, Kuki state ministers issue a statement. Why is it not important to discuss these tapes? If these
Now,
tapes actually show, if the tapes actually show, as is alleged by the Kuki MLAs, that the chief minister is exhorting private militia, that he allowed them to be armed, why are the tapes not important to debate, Mr. Hakshik?
my point is not what I meant was that these tapes don't prove any further thing. It is whatever has been expressed in these tapes or whatever comes out of this tape is already there. It is already there's already enough substantial as well as circumstantial evidence to show the chief minister's involvement. Now, just if by chance you say that these tapes were doctors, that doesn't prove his innocence anyway. That's what I'm trying to say. It is not really important, but the point I'm saying it is whatever the fact that he asked for an inquisition on it improves itself that it is taped. And I know the way he talks, his thought processes, and this cannot be doctored or manufactured. It is a real spontaneous discussion with his stormtroopers, whom here he's egging on. He's driving them on to further go ahead with his scheme of things. So it's not really crucial that he's proven innocent.
So you're saying you're saying let the tapes not be the only benchmark to decide Biren Singh's guilt or innocence in fomenting violence. You do believe he's responsible for that. Now, I